When you deprogram yourself, sex loses its illusion of power, you know. Sex is one of the most marketed, glamorized, and even weaponized aspect of human life. Culture teaches us to chase it. Religion teaches us to fear it. Media teaches us to be obsessed over it. You know. So we grow up believing sex is the ultimate form of intimacy. It is the ultimate form of validation, power, or even worth. But when you begin to remove societal programming, then something profound happens. You start seeing sex for what it really is: a physical, biological act that only gains meaning when you give it meaning. You know, deprogramming removes the hype. You know, you begin to notice how much of your relationship with sex was taught. It was not chosen. You were told what's sexy and what is not. You were taught that sexual attention is equal to self-worth. You were conditioned to see sex as a goal, a trophy, or even proof of desirability. When this programming is removed, sex stops being a pedestal event. It becomes just one part of life, not the center of your identity or even decisions. You know, sex is not power. Many of us use sex as leverage to control, to seduce, to manipulate, or even to validate ourselves. But once you deprogram, you realize that sex doesn't give you status. Sex doesn't give you love. Sex doesn't give you control over anyone's soul or even destiny. Its power was only ever perceived because you were trained to see it as scarce or special. You know, the, this doesn't mean that sex loses all joy. Rather, it stops controlling you. You know, you can enjoy it without attaching your value to it. You can walk away from it without feeling deprived. You know, you stop using it as a coping mechanism for loneliness or boredom. Pleasure becomes intentional, not compulsive. That way you reclaim your energy. When sex is no longer the center of your thoughts, when it's no longer the center of your cravings or even decisions, then you free up immense energy. Creativity flows better. Focus sharpens. Relationships become more authentic because you're not chasing validation through intimacy. You know, psychologically, this is liberation from conditioning. You stop being ruled by dopamine cycles and external approval. While spiritually, you start to see sex as one form of energy exchange among many. You know, not the highest or even most defining. In short, when you strip away programming, sex stops being this overwhelming force controlling your choices and emotions. It becomes just another expression of being human. Beautiful when aligned, irrelevant when not. You know, its power was never intrinsic. It was projected onto it by culture, by society, and even conditioning. May people heal. Huh? Heal.